Hello and welcome to another planning appeal case study video. I'm John Peters. In this video I'm going to explain how we overcame a recent refusal by Solihull Council for one of our clients. This planning appeal was to overcome the refusal for a first floor 2-storey extension and installation of 2 front dormers that was refused by the local authority Solihull Planning Department. Our client was initially booked in for a free, no obligation consultation to run through the refusal reasons that had been used by Solihull Council to evaluate if an appeal was viable or if an alternative option would be best suited. The free, no obligation consultation, which took around 15 minutes, found that the case was viable to appeal to the Planning Inspectorate, taking the decision process away from Solihull Council Planning Department. This case was refused by Solihull for the following reasons. The proposed construction of a first floor 2-storey extension to the corner closest to the neighbours by reason of its size, siting and relationship with the neighbouring property would have an unneighbourly, overbearing and dominant impact that would unduly harmful to the amenities currently enjoyed by the occupiers of the property. As you can see, the refusal reasons for this case are subjective. We have a very high success rate with subjective refusals. The Planning Inspector in this case identified the main reason for this case was the effect on the development on the living conditions of the occupying neighbours, with particular regard to the overbearing and loss of light. The Inspector stated the following in the appeal decision. The appeal relates to various extensions and alterations to the dwelling, including a 2-storey rear extension which is located adjacent to the boundary with the neighbours. The design of the rear extension, where located closest to the neighbours, has a flat roof. The degree of projection to the rear is similar to the extended rear building in line with the neighbours. Therefore, as an extension is positioned adjacent to existing built form, it is not immediately adjacent to the garden space and does not appear domineering or overbearing form in this area. As both properties are of a similar depth, the extension is not prominent from rear facing ground floor windows within the neighbours. Furthermore, the neighbours benefit from a generous rear garden which provides a sense of spaciousness. While the extension is visible, it does not protrude along the boundary beyond the existing building line of the neighbours. As such, it does not result in any undue enclosure of the garden space. As you could tell from that inspector's report, the inspector has considered these points in detail. Importantly, the inspector visited the site, and that enabled the inspector to get a true sense of the proposed development. Many of you who have similar refusals that are repeatedly stated to us that you had little or no correspondence throughout the application process, and the first thing you know was receiving a refusal notice from the council, and in some cases when you receive a letter from ourselves. We completely understand that the planning process can be very frustrating, the costs involved, time it takes and so on. But do remember, we deal with this on a daily basis for others just like yourself. With planning appeals, experience matters. Our specialist appeals team, who handle over 2.5% of all planning appeals in England and Wales that are currently produced and submitted, start by producing a comprehensive and robust appeal statement that in this specific case covered 20 pages and just over 3,700 words. It's important to detail in the appeal statement where the local authority failed in their assessment of the case and how and where possible both local and national policy applies in favour of the appeal. Additionally, if possible, bringing in similar cases that the Planning Inspectorate found in favour of appeal. Obviously, with the back catalogue we have of wins, we're able to use these cases and what the inspector said in them as additional argument to support the case we're working on. Once an appeal statement is completed, we send the document to our client asking them to check that they are happy for us to submit the case. If we need to add any additional information that the client may have forgotten previously to supply, it is done at this point and the case is then submitted. It is vitally important that all the documents and responses are submitted on time throughout the process, as failure to do so will result in the appeal not being successful, something we hear about often when people attempt an appeal for the first time. Always ensure you use a professional who has considerable experience of appeals. It is worth asking them for some recent successful planning appeal case studies like the one you'll find on our website. Due to the large number of cases we represent, we have a dedicated team that liaises with the Planning Inspectorate on a daily basis. For this appeal, an independent planning inspector from the Planning Inspectorate visited the site on the 13th of November, and we are pleased to confirm the appeal was upheld and the permission granted on the 24th of January in a 2-page appeal decision notice. If you'd like to find out if we can help you with your planning appeal, complete our online form on our website www.planningappealsuk.com, and our UK support team will arrange for a free, no obligation consultation with one of our appeal assessment professionals. Thank you for taking the time to watch this planning appeal case study video, and I look forward to producing another one very shortly. Bye for now.